Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please enter your... Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to the cold, hard truth on sports. I apologize in advance if I am out of line here.
Brace yourselves, boys. We're going in.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you are doing?
I'm not reading. I'm just looking at the picture. Welcome to the cold, hard truth on sports.
Welcome, everybody, to another great week here of the Cold Hard Truth on Sports. I am your host, Matthew Long. Awesome show ahead of us here today. A lot going on in the NFL. I know. I know nobody's playing, but a lot's going on. There's been a wave of releases. It's inevitable this time of year. Teams start to relieve players of money that they would otherwise be paid to clear cap space, to move forward to see where they're at for pending NFL draft. So, all right. Should be hearing from should be having a few people joining me here at some point during the show. There's a little bit of issue there with that screen, but it's all good. If you want to call in, the number to call in is 347-237-5539. Again, 347-237-5539. It's the phone number to call in any point in time during the show, during the first 2 hours of the show. I know a lot of you listen on Blog Talk, and as you know, you got till 10:30 to call in. If you call in after 10:30, good luck. Good luck. But those of you that call in before 10:30 can get through to the show. Some of you listen to the entire show over on the Spreaker app. I see more and more of you are downloading the free Spreaker app. It's like speaker, but with an extra R. So it's not a lisp. It's not a speech impediment. That's how it's pronounced. And the logo is a star. I think it's a gold star with a black background. Is that right? I think it's different on different devices. I don't know. I'm an Android guy. I do Samsung Galaxy series. That's what I do. That's it. Samsung Galaxy series. That's it. Note, primarily the Note. Yeah. But if you're an Apple person, maybe it looks different. I don't know. I'm sure it's available on the App Store, the Apple App Store, from what I understand. So go ahead, download it. It's free. It's free to download the Spreaker app. And if for some reason you're listening to it on Spreaker or Blog Talk and you're just like, I want to add the show. I want to add the Cold Hard Truth on Sports radio show to my playlist somewhere else. So you can do that. It's over on iTunes. Also SoundCloud. Our numbers on SoundCloud have been going up pretty well. I'm really happy with those of you that listen to the podcast version of the show on SoundCloud. Creighton looks like they're making a little bit of a comeback here. Down 23-22. With 3 minutes to go in the game. I mean, Creighton's one of those teams, man. It's like they're in the tournament, they're in the tournament, but for some reason they just forgot how to play basketball. So they've been struggling the past month or so, really putting stuff together. Conference play is always the toughest in college basketball. And even within the state, just 30 minutes away, in Lincoln, Nebraska puts up 20 wins for the first time in like a decade. So college basketball is starting to get into the point where a lot of people are starting to watch it. A lot more people are starting to take notice of it. However, Nebraska did come up with a loss to the Illini, which is kind of one of those things where, they were looking at themselves. They were a bubble team to begin with, right? And losing to Illinois was something just is going to make it tougher. Because I was talking a little bit about on the show last week. They're one of those teams that they don't have a marquee win, but they don't have a devastating loss. They're sitting at 11-5 right now. 11-5 in conference, and they're 20-9 overall. So, I think they won like 9 or 10 straight games. Out of all the teams left in the conference, I think they have kind of one of the best routes as far as being able to win it. They have the Hoosiers at home, and then they have Penn State at home. Again, Penn State's another one of those teams that's kind of like hoping to be that bubble team that gets in instead of getting bursted. But a 72-66 loss in Champaign is not what they were looking for on the road there to continue being able to push forward to get into the tournament. I guess they were in the tournament 3 years ago, but this will be the second time Miles gets them in. And by the way, for Nebraska, a number 1 seed in the NIT, I don't think that's a drop-off. It's not much of a drop-off. If you don't feel like you have a team right now that can really compete in the tournament, and from what I understand, they have a lot of guys coming back. The biggest issue Nebraska has is off the court. It's Miles' contract. It's their head coach's contract. It's up in limbo. I've talked to people that they've lost. Scouts have told me they've lost talent to go to Lincoln to play for the Huskers because Miles' contract is up in the air. You have to extend this guy. Nebraska needs equipped. They got a new athletic director, so obviously this is something that he's working on. He didn't hire him, but Miles has done well. I don't know if he's working other angles to potentially bring in a different head coach if he doesn't make the tournament. There's lots of different ways that people can spin things and work things potentially into their favor. The one thing I was talking to somebody this week, and they were telling me, hey, listen, we had one of the higher ups of our region, they resigned. They stepped down because the annual numbers were so bad, and they hadn't improved into the first quarter. And, and they were talking about some of the other branches that, the management may not be on the up and up, may not be the most attentive to advantageous to improving what the quality of the workplace is, and most of all the numbers, because that's the thing is like I've sales and marketing and worked at all different levels, and I can tell you at the highest level, if your numbers aren't there, because at the highest level, what's tangible is the numbers. Because the higher up, the board, the CEO, the president, vice, those people don't show up, and they're not in the trenches with their employees. They're not there in the workplace. You know, all they see is this is what we want to happen, and this is what has or lack thereof happened. So they're sitting there in a situation like, what do I do? Well, that person's numbers, instead of, again, I'm betting, I don't know, that they were offered an ultimatum. They were going to terminate you and unceremoniously dethrone you, or you step down. You resign. Now, again, that could be part of it. Also, sometimes you'll get somebody that's higher up like that will resign because they were promised something. They were promised assets or tools or resources, and they were never given them. So instead of sitting there and taking the L in a way that is really making them look bad, they say, hey, listen, you know, I was looking for this. This is what you were supposed to provide me. You're not providing it. Obviously, you're not seeing the results you want. So either you provide them or I'm out. And then they just ultimately they say I'm out. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and go through this ordeal with you and not be able to ultimately have the resource I need to be successful, because I took the job to be successful. So, you know, it can always be a tough sort of situation to really wrap the mind around sometimes. So in this sort of situation, you know, you got the new boss that comes in, the new higher up guy. In this sense, it's the athletic director. And a lot of times, the first thing that person wants to do is make their presence felt. Make them felt, you know. I want you to know I'm in the building in a big way. And usually, it's firing people. Usually what they do is they fire people and they hire people. Hire the people that they want, that they think is going to be successful. And they fire the people that they didn't hire or are not successful. So, Mose, who's there at the University of Nebraska, now he fired Mike Riley. And I don't think anybody is sad about that. I don't even think Mike Riley is sad. Mike Riley's case was, you know, I think we were just headed in the right track, and we were gonna get to that win, and we'd really turn that corner the next season. Like, that's Mike Riley right there. That's how he is. You know, I don't think we did a bad job. Obviously, there was room for improvement. There always is. But I think we were turning the corner, and we were heading in the right direction. I don't know. And again, I get, you know, sometimes you have to take a couple step backs to move a couple step forwards. But if you're setting records for a school for number of losses in a season or lack of wins in a season, that is never in the right direction. There's nothing that you're doing. See, because big programs like that, programs that have the money, that have the resources, I'm talking about like Nebraska. They have tons of money. I mean, people are like, oh, well, they haven't been really. Well, listen, what they put on the field has struggled, but it's still Nebraska. It's still Nebraska. You cannot count them out of it. They have more money. They bring in more money than just about anybody. But unlike Alabama, they have zero subsidies. Unlike Ohio State, zero subsidies. There is no tax dollars that is going into the football program. That coach is being paid through the athletic department as an employee of the athletic department. That is through boosters, that's through ticket sales, that's through merchandise. So, again, it's not, and they have a lot of boosters, some big boosters too. So it's not a wonder that they have great facilities, that they have, they have the opportunity to bring in coaches. But now it seems like, what are we doing with basketball? And they're losing recruits because of it. I think Tim Miles has done an admirable job. He has been somewhat consistent, being able to improve. Last year was kind of a bit of a down year, but you can't, I don't know, I mean, to see Nebraska come within a few points of beating Kansas, of beating Ohio State, of, being right there, essentially being right there within points of beating Purdue. Again, the Creighton game was a really close game till second half of the final quarter of the game. The second part of the second half, I guess, whatever you want to put it that way. I'm just saying, it's like, and even the St. John's lost. Again, St. John's got ripped up. I think they have 2 wins in conference or something like that. But St. John's was not a bad team. And the St. John's team that ended up making, by the time it made it to conference play, was not the same St. John's team. They had lost players by then. So, that was a quality opponent at that point in time. Again, St. John's is 3-11 in conference and 14-13 overall. I mean, they're above 500 still. It's just that conference. I mean, Xavier, Villanova are both in the top, are both 3 and 4 in the country. Creighton, Providence, Butler, Seton Hall, Marquette, Georgetown. I mean, they don't have. I mean, DePaul is the only team that's under 500 in the conference. Everybody else has 15 or plus wins. I mean, that's it. The Big East is a legit conference. I mean, Butler and Creighton are right there with as far as strength of schedule and stuff like that. So from what I've understood, Nebraska's issue right now is just that they don't have marquee wins. The analytical part that they figure for the RPI is not there, So with what they have left, again, Penn State is right behind them. They are almost a 20-win team. They are, again, 9-7 in conference and 19-10. So they're a half a game behind Nebraska in the Big Ten standings. And then the Hoosiers are right there as well. They're 16-12. Again, 2 quality opponents to finish out the season, the regular season. But again, really, really no marquee wins. So, And, you know, we'll see where this goes moving forward. There's plenty of teams out there. The bubble teams, we'll get more in that as we get later into March as well. We are also coming up on for college football. We're next month. I was just talking with my guy. I mean, Monday. I was talking to him saying, hey, when are you guys, what day do you guys show up for the combine? He said, yeah, we roll into town on Monday. 26th. So and they get in there, they get all their measurements done, they get proclamated and whatnot. So there's a whole host of guys that are potential draft guys that don't make it to the combine. And we are going to be working here between now and the draft to kind of unhinge some of those rocks, turn them over so we can see what's underneath. And I know you've hit on. And by the way, a quick correction. So I tweeted out at Good Morning Football, and Nate Burleson and Peter Schrager, because they did an episode last week where they were saying, hey, we have homework assignments for you. I need you to find that diamond in the rough wide receiver, like you did last year with Cooper Kupp. And then Burleson was, I need you to find me the top 5 wide receivers. Now, as far as top 5, I don't know if I would consider this guy top 5. I wouldn't consider him top 5, but without a doubt, he has the talent to be on a 53 as a rookie. And he is that diamond in the rough guy. The guy, he won't be at the combine. He will be at a pro day. And my correction, I put NIU, which is not what I meant. Northern Iowa, but it's not Northern Iowa University. It's University of Northern Iowa. My boo-boo. My bad. He goes to UNI. So I tweeted that out. My bad. Derice Fontaine. My bad, man. I boo-booed that one. But a bunch of people did comment back, you know, in support of NIU, you and I correcting it. Not really even so much correcting it. You know, it's a nice thing about like Nebraska and Iowans. Like you'll see the fans. It's like, yeah, you know, it's University of Northern Iowa. You know, it's okay. We get that all the time. And you know, it's kind of like, hey, yeah. Northern Iowa, yeah. See, the thing is, I didn't know. And by the way, it's not an uncommon mistake. Like, if I asked you, is it the University of Louisville or is it Louisville University? I'm willing to bet half of you were like, huh? I don't know. Let me Google it. You know? Again, I'm telling you, it's not like a lot of these things are so heir apparent. If the university goes first or does it go last? You know, it's not an automatic. It's not an automatic. I mean, I should know that. I should know that because I'm a sports guy. I should know that because it's my line of work. Okay. Oh, I get that. And you know what? I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. It's not the case. You know, again, if you, I don't know what. Get that plugged in. Stop bumping my mic. Killing me here. Again, just because you're in a certain line of work doesn't mean you know everything about it. You know? It doesn't. I don't know why. I don't know why that should be commonplace. You think because I'm a sports broadcaster or the managing editor for a sports publication, I should automatically know everything. No. I mean, I think Einstein had the best theory when it comes to information. If the information is readily available for me to look up, to research, why should I spend time and resources in memorization when I know that me being able to memorize it, that it's finite, you know? If I can have it in notes, why do I need to commit it to memory? That's time, that's energy spent on committing something to memory. See, that's the one thing. I've never liked scripts. I've again, being in sales and marketing, there's a lot of scripts. A lot of scripts. Had to read lots of scripts. Had to write lots of scripts. And that's just the thing. Is the script is designed to familiarize you with a tone and understanding of what you're doing. It irks me when people use scripts verbatim, because it's not conversation. Your script should be, a guideline of how to proceed. It gets you started with the conversation, you have the conversation, and then it should give you guidelines of where you transition to from point to point till the close and after. That's what a script is for, truly. It shouldn't be something that you read, that you commit to memory. It's so dumb. It's not an answering machine. I don't like those either, by the way. Yeah. No, I fixed it. They're giving me crap here. No, because I'm notorious for, if you call me and leave me a voicemail, I'll call you back and be like, hey, what's up? And be like, hey, I left you a voicemail. I don't listen to my voicemail. I don't. It's I don't know. It's annoying to go search out. I mean, it's not annoying. I don't make time to check it. That's really what it is. It's not annoying. I leave voicemails sometimes too. I do. You know it. So here's one thing I'll do. Friends, that are friends, I will call and leave a silly voicemail. Maybe it's a character voice. Maybe, I don't know. It's just something funny, stupid, crank call type stuff. Prank call. Yeah. And my only hope is that when my friend listens to it, that they laugh and it makes their day better. That's really the only point of it. And hopefully they call me back. That's kind of the whole point of my phone call to begin with, is to have a conversation, not just to make them laugh. All right. If you want to message the show, you can directly. The show handle is @TheCHT on Sports, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, you name it. You can get at me on social media @MattLongSports. Again, that's @MattLongSports. If somebody is a genuine follower, I usually follow people back. Yeah, if it's not some bogus something. Something I've noticed lately, I don't know if you've seen this. I've had to block some people. I'm not a blocker. I'm not really into blocking. I think it's dumb. I don't want to inhibit you from giving me positive statistics on my analytics. But that's the thing. That's the big thing why I don't block people. You know, I'm not going to share that story. I won't get into that story. It's not worth my time to get into that. Okay, so I'll brush over it briefly with not much detail. Okay? Producers egging me on to tell stories. I want to get to it's a sports show. Eventually, I have to stop story time and talk about the sports. Okay. But like I said, in general, I don't block people. I think it's dumb. Muting people, but you know, if you're tweeting at me so much that I would have to mute you, it would have to be something pretty serious. I don't know. I have no problem. I have kids, you know, and those of you, my kids are 5. I have twins, right? So at a certain point in time, as a parent, you learn to block certain things out or lose your fucking mind, right? So you either lose your mind because kids won't be quiet, or you learn to block it out. Because there isn't a time where you get them to be quiet. They don't quiet. There is no volume. There, you know, especially with a 5-year-old. Okay, so if you don't have kids, take this note and understand when you have kids and they turn 5, there's not be quiet mode on them. There's no mute. You know, there's no silence button. None. It doesn't exist. So you either learn to, you know, block out what you're not able to mute, or you lose your mind. Either or. I've learned to block out. My wife hasn't really figured it out yet. She's getting there. But with some of my Yoda-like mentoring, she's working on it. I mean, they can all block me out. I swear. I'm asking, hey, you need this, hey, do this. Nobody hears me. Nobody. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield. I get no respect. No respect. You know, I feel like Rodney Dangerfield sometimes. But they got that. But when it comes to the kids, can't do it yet. I guess it's a maternal thing. I don't know. But that's it. I'm not going to block somebody simply because you're tweeting. I want those statistics. I want that. You know, tweet, share, comment, do that. Everybody. We want you to do that. But I've been blocked. Yes. I know of 2 people that have blocked me. One of them blocked me because he has this beef with me. A beef from years and years ago where I gave him a job. He didn't really show up for the job. And I was like, hey, you either got to show up and work or I got to fire you. That's kind of the way it works. And I told him, hey, you need to make sure you go by human resources so you can get paid for the 10 hours you've worked in 2 weeks and have not been fired yet. So, you know, that's a leash right there. That is a leash. And then he didn't do it, and then he didn't get paid. And then he's mad at me. And that's the beef. He has that beef with me because he never got paid from a company because he didn't follow through and do his job. He didn't show up to do work, and he didn't show up to make sure he got paid. That's a moron. It's an idiot. I don't know. So he didn't get paid. Not my fault. And sue them. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I did everything I could do. I gave you the job. I told you where to go. Told you what to do. How to do it. I tried to move the process along myself. Didn't work. he has to go do it. Funny thing, you know? That's why. So he decided he was going to block me. He works for a radio station in Tampa, in part-time in their promotions department. But he decided to block me from his and some other Twitter accounts. The dumbest thing. The thing is, he's friends with a friend of mine. So that was kind of how he got the job, in a sense. Other than being qualified, but that's kind of how he got the job. He was friends with a friend of mine, you know? And he had experience. So he got the job. But it didn't work. It didn't work. I don't have any hard feelings about that. I don't work for them anymore. I don't care. If he wants his money, he can go pester him for it. Sue him, you know? It's only, 10, 12 hours. You know, I'm pretty sure if he goes to civil court, files a lawsuit against him, it's free. That's free at that dollar amount in civil court. And they probably just pay him instead of going to court. Be honest with you. But no. The other one was the other guy that works for a radio station in Tampa. I don't know exactly what it is, but there were reports on, it was baseball. This guy's a baseball guy. And no, it's not Rich. It's not Rich. I see people, Rich Herrera? No, it's not Rich Herrera. There's nothing. I have no issue with it, Rich Herrera. Great guy. It's upsetting what happened at the Fan, and they basically go to work one week and then out of nowhere in the middle of the next week they don't have jobs. Rich Herrera had been with Major League Baseball on Sirius XM Radio, and Booger McFarland was already with the SEC network, ESPN. So they had those side jobs already. They just kept those jobs and increased their hours, I guess. I don't know. Just lost that one gig, because that's really kind of what it is. Broadcasting, news media. It's rarely just one job, but a lot of jobs kind of bunched in. Yeah, you'll see like one guy, he does the radio show, but now he does the pre and post game show for the local team here, and then this guy, he's a reporter for here, but he does a morning show here. It's kind of, you find as many gigs as you can to get more money, because you're rarely ever going to get raises at those gigs that you do have. So it's kind of the thing. But the guy, the baseball guy, right? Again, outside of this one incident, I can't think of anything else. He was literally, so he's on the radio talking about this stuff. He's doing updates, and I have information that evidently he does not have. So I call and say, hey, this is Matt. Just want to let you know, this is what my source is telling me on this. You don't have to credit me if you don't want to. Whatever. I just want to share this with you so you get it out there. Right? I share it with him, and he ignores it. Right? I'm like, cool, whatever. So I tweeted when he put it out on social media, and I just replied to it, and this guy too. That's it. Per my source. So I just tweeted out after what he said. I guess that made him feel dumb, or he was upset, or he didn't like that I had a source on something and he didn't. I don't know. Whatever it is, he decided to block me. My life has not changed a day since. For one moment, has not changed. It made me stop and be like, really? People are petty. Let's see. Is this a rerun? Oh, this is. I'm going to leave this on. It's a rerun. So Chelsea and Barcelona. in UEFA's Champions League. This is the round of 16, the first leg, Barcelona and Chelsea. So what I've understood, again, this is a rerun, right? It's a rerun. Is Lionel Messi, probably the greatest soccer player ever, single-handedly comes back and wins it for Barcelona. They're only in at the 8:40 mark, so there's a lot of game to go. So I'll leave this on over here. But all right, enough story time. Want to get into sports. There's a lot to get into. Like I said, there's a whole wave of NFL moves being made, releases to clear up cap space. We have guys that are preparing for the combine and their pro days. There's some guys that we want to get into there and find some of those diamonds in the rough. The NBA All-Star Game. Fergie had a great night. Fergie nailed it. I actually am not as disappointed with Fergie's performance as some. It's hilarious, by the way. DJ, what was it? DJ, I don't remember who it was. A DJ literally mixed it and made a beat to it. And by the way, it is a pretty cool song. Not gonna lie. Also, Danny Garcia and Brandon Rios fought this weekend. So we will get into that as well. But to do that, I'm bringing in. He's one of our top contributors. We'll actually have a basketball article coming out. He's basically our lead columnist. He's also editor for boxing, and he is the host of the Boxing Source radio show, Mr. James Bell. How are you doing tonight, James?
Yo, what's up, man?
How's it going?
Yeah, just chilling, man. I mean, kind of like weather is kind of bipolar up here, but hey, you got to take what you got.
Yeah, I mean, like the sports world, like this time of year, kind of gets all over the place because, because LA and New York are unique kind of cities. This time of year, or any time of year, usually people will tell you that they're actually bigger basketball cities than football cities. So now that, you see the Clippers not doing so well. The Lakers seem like they're figuring out how to play basketball. The Knicks suck, but they have a couple pieces that they seem hopeful about. So it's interesting because LeBron, they're not in first place, but they seem to be getting back in the flow. By the way, the thing with the Cavs happen this time of year all the time. It's not really a big deal. But They put out an all-star game this year that was, for at least, 3 quarters, was somewhat entertaining. They might do this model next year, how they have captains. I know the Pro Bowl did that a couple years, where Dion had a team. Was it Dion and Chris Carter?
Yeah.
And Dion and Jerry Rice. They had their teams.
I think Michael Irvin had a team one time.
Yeah, Michael Irvin. Maybe it was Michael Irvin and Jerry Rice. Maybe it was. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, the NFL did this. So just trying to switch it up. But obviously, it's a meaningless game. So did you watch much of it? Or any of it? For that fact?
Yeah. Pretty much watched, most of the game after doing the podcast. So, I mean, it was an entertaining game. You had a few good highlights here and there from both sides. I mean, you pretty much had, the Curry's team kind of like had the advantage for most of the game. Was kind of, good to see, who was it, Harden? Harden was going at it a little bit. You had DeRozan, well, pretty much the guards for Curry's team. You had DeRozan, you had Kyle Lowry, and then who was it, Dame Lillard. Dame Lillard was really, balling for the Curry team there for the first 3 quarters. So they kind of look pretty good there. But then who it was? You had then you had Team LeBron come back at the end of the game because they were like down by about 13 points or something in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and
and got back in it.
And the crazy thing is, I like it. I think I liked it better that they did the whole draft thing. Yeah, the draft thing probably should have been televised because it would have been entertaining. I mean, it's probably more entertaining than the lottery, which we're going to see here, the draft lottery coming up here in a month or two. So, again, I mean, we all want to see who picks first and stuff like that, but I think it would be hella more entertaining to see have them be picking teams. But I think what we've learned from this is if you take a couple of the best players from the East, and then you take and put them in the West, it makes for much better basketball. So that's kind of what I got from it, It's a much more entertaining basketball if you take those guys from the East and put them out West, because that's essentially the way that these rosters are kind of filled out. You didn't have any one team that was more East Coast really than the other. But the guys that you really saw that highlighted in the game were mostly guys from the West Coast, outside of LeBron. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting coming up here. Obviously, I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, the trade deadline's over." No, this year is supposed to be a really big buyout year. Like a lot of people want to just get rid of the contract, get rid of the player. They've signed a lot of absorbent contracts. The past few years, and the cap didn't go up as much as it has in past years. The percentage went down a little bit. So, from what I'm told from people in management in front offices, that a lot of teams are planning on this next wave will be contract buyouts, and I think a lot of these teams are holding out on some of these buyouts, see who they can get with buyouts. So, I mean, now I really haven't spent much time talking about have the Cavs figured it out. I mean, they've had the new look team. They've had maybe even 10 games together, if that. Was it like 6? 6, 10, not even that. I mean, it's not like they've spent much time together as it is. So I know people are getting really excited, and I hate to burst people's bubble, but it's only a handful of games. They didn't find the fountain of youth in 10 games. Their pieces work a little bit better, but I mean, you're not gonna at the trade deadline. You're not gonna assemble the perfect team at the trade deadline, And they still don't have a team, in my opinion, that can really run with the Warriors, especially the Warriors when they get fresh. So, it's gonna be interesting to see how this buyout market goes, and if there's going to be more changes and more upgrades to teams in the meantime, because of that. Because once guy's bought out, he's a free agent. You can still sign free agents, you know. Now, when you get into the playoffs, your roster moves are limited on who you can bring up and when. So, it'll be fun to watch. I don't think it's going to be a dull time at all. And I'm really looking forward to see how the East, if teams in the East are really going to be able to step up their level of game to seriously make a stab at the Cavaliers and LeBron. Because, I mean, this might be one of the years that they have the best opportunities, because, you know, I mean, he's been on a team with mostly aging players. Now, I mean, the Cavs, the roster gets younger, you know. Jordan Clarkson, I think, was what Jordan Clarkson. Ironically, the two guys he got from the Lakers are probably the best infusion into this team. Larry Nance Jr. and Jordan Clarkson. And Nance, again, comes off the bench, but and Jordan Clarkson, he's that guy that he's that hybrid point guard. He can bring it up and play point, but he could play it on off guard too, because he has a decent shot. So the Lakers moved those two guys in because Nance is coming up. He's going to be due for a contract, and he's getting paid, you know, almost $12 million, $11.5. So they're looking to bring in, although those are two good guys within their offense, within their team, they're looking to try to move into a situation where they can have a quality core of players to bring in veterans. Now, I know the Lakers said that they were changing direction with free agency, and like I said, maybe they are, but they're probably not. They're not out of the LeBron race. They're not going to get out of it. And I still I haven't figured it out. People talk about, well, the Lakers can threaten to trade Lonzo Ball if his dad doesn't shut his mouth. Well, first of all, Lonzo Ball is never going to, LeVar Ball is never going to shut his mouth. He just won't. He doesn't. You know, Lonzo just is going to have to, you know, put him in the background and disassociate from him, in a sense. This is going to have to. Because I'm telling you, the Lakers there isn't much. If he's a good player, there isn't much leverage to saying we'll trade you. Well, he's not kicked out of the league, you know? And you're not going to get as much. Because if the Lakers can't put up with the helicopter dad, then what other team wants to? So they're going to have to pay to move him, essentially. They don't have any leverage in this argument. The best thing to do is to ban him from being in the Staples Center, and then you can fine his son if you want to, which doesn't make sense. But there will end up being a point to where Lonzo realizes Dad needs to chill. Because for the most part, he just ignores him. Like what a lot of people do. That's what Lonzo Ball does. Lonzo Ball does what most people do. They just ignore him, move on with their life. You know? Now, I get LeVar. He's trying, at times, he's created situations and drawn attention to himself, but some of those situations, I don't blame him, because he was taking heat off of his son. Like, Lonzo wasn't playing so well, wasn't shooting so well, and he took the heat off of him and brought it on himself, at least from a media standpoint. So they're not bothering about his game. Now they're complaining about Lonzo Ball or LeVar Ball running his mouth. So he changed the narrative on him, which is a good parenting, I guess. A good PR thing. You're trying to take the negativity away from the client, bring it onto yourself. So not a bad move there by him. But at the same time, there's some things that he says and things that he does just nonsensical. To say that if the Lakers aren't willing to sign all three of my kids to their team, then Lonzo will not re-up his contract. Well, first of all, yes, he will, because his best chance of getting a max deal or the most money is with the team that drafted him. That doesn't change. And I'm pretty sure that in the grand scheme of his NBA career, he's not going to want to end up taking less money so he could play basketball with his brothers. His dad may want him to, because that's something he said that would happen. But it doesn't make there's no business sense behind it unless they're going to be a benefit to the team. I don't see how they are. So, but the Cavs roster now is younger and more apt to run with the ball. They can play more fluidly because they have less old players that are slow and unable to move. And people aren't so stuck in their ways. So that's the thing is, like I said, George Hill, when I said a couple years ago, he needs a guy. He's so stuck. LeBron was so stuck on getting Paul George. I said, really, the guy that he should want from the Pacers is George Hill, because he can play that point guard. He can play that facilitator role. He can score. He has enough size. That's more so the guy that fits than Paul George. But then again, people want what they want, even if it may not be the best fit. So we'll see. Again, and for those of you wondering, Paul George, I'm telling you now, and this isn't based on a source, Paul George is not going to re-sign at Oklahoma City. He won't. His minutes have been affected a little, but his points per game, his shooting percentage, free throw, the flow that he has normally had throughout his career, being able to have the ball in his hand and work with his teammates, it has been affected. Even his free throw shooting is down in OKC. Again, because he's with guys that are ball-centric and shoot first, ask questions later. Or shoot first and then get back. Not even playing defense, just getting back. Walking. Casually. So, again, I think him after him playing with Carmelo, it's not something he's going to want to do. And I don't see at this juncture why, outside them being friends, why anybody wants to bring Carmelo in. Carmelo is unwilling to come off the bench. He's unwilling to help make a situation work. But that's nothing new. That was the issue that was in Denver. So he wanted to be traded. So he got moved to New York. The issue in New York. Got moved to Oklahoma City. You know, and that's just the thing. If you have a guy like that, you're not going to get defense out of him. You're going to get some shooting. He can score. What are you getting? I mean, I would be willing to, at least with Boogie Cousins, you get some defense. I don't know. At least you get some defense. Not as good a shooter, but some defense. But I wouldn't pick either of those guys. I wouldn't bring either of those guys onto a team. I think both those guys disrupt team chemistry. That's why you never see those guys on teams that go anywhere in the playoffs. So, but interesting All-Star game nonetheless. James, what do you make? What do you make of the Cavs move? Re-up in here just before the All-Star break.
Well, I mean, they had to make the decision there to, alter their roster. I mean, it's no secret that they struggled in the month of January. I mean, I know the schedule was, kind of tough for them in the month of January. But even with that, with a team that, is supposed to be one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, the way that they were performing over the month of January, especially defensively, was atrocious by many people's standards. And so they had to make a change. The continuity wasn't there. The overall offensive execution was not there either. So, like I was saying with the defense wasn't really going good, and the offense wasn't well either. I mean, it pretty much I think it all came to a head when they ended up losing to Orlando on the road. When you lose to, a team like that, you gotta make the adjustment.
They got smashed by Orlando, from what I remember. It was something that wasn't even a close game. I'm pulling it up here real quick.
So you have that, and then you turn around, and then you have the game against Minnesota, and you have to win that game in overtime with the last second shot by LeBron, right? And so they're able to get through that, and then that's when they basically made the move to get rid of Isaiah Thomas, who wasn't really doing well at all. You let go of Dwayne Wade. He was doing okay off the bench, but defensive wise, he said he wasn't doing well enough. You get rid of you had whatchamacallit there.
Dwayne Wade.
Who was the other guy there that was the Celtics?
Crowder.
They came from the Celtics.
Jay Crowder.
Jay Crowder. They got rid of Jay Crowder. They got rid of most of those guys. Kept their Brooklyn pick. Gave up their original pick to get Clarkson, get Nance Jr. Added those two young guys there. You get George Hill, so you get offense and you get defense too. And so with your rotation, what you're doing is you're adding in a little bit of offense and also getting defense out of that. So thing is, they're going to be trying to get points, where they don't have to necessarily, rely on LeBron to log in so many minutes, right? So if you don't have to log in that many minutes, take them down to about, they'll probably see if they'll go for it. They'll probably do 40, but if they could do less than 40 minutes a game for him in the tail end of the season, then he'll be fine come playoff time. Because the thing about it is, most of those key players that are on Cleveland have played a lot of games over the past 4 seasons, going on 4 seasons now. Three consecutive NBA Finals appearances, And then, this right here, that's a lot of games, So they need something to where those key players can, kind of like rest up a little bit before they get really fatigued. So, this may work out for them. I did get something from a fan of Cleveland that said, hey, they could make a run of winning 22 straight games. And I was like, huh? Man, ain't no way they could win 22 straight games. But then I looked at the schedule for Cleveland. That thing is horrible, man. That thing is worse than that schedule is worse than out of conference schedules for SEC teams.
I was looking at it. So the funny thing is the Magic are terrible. So on their losing streak, basically started with Milwaukee. They beat, and this is December. So this is where the Cavs really started going downhill. So they lost to Milwaukee at Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. They beat the Bulls, the no-name Bulls, by 3 at home. They lose to the Warriors on Christmas Day. They lose to Sacramento 2 days later. Then they lose. Yep. Then they lose to Utah. They end up beating Portland at home again. At home, they go on the road, lose to Boston. That was the 102-88 loss. Then they beat Orlando in Orlando, but it was 31-27. They beat them by 4, barely. They lose to Minnesota. They lose to Toronto. They lose to the no-name, just about no-name Pacers. They lose to the Warriors again by 10 this time. Then they go. Yep. They have Orlando at home and beat them by 1. Oklahoma City, they lose 148-124. They got blasted by 24 points. Again, that was a game that was in regulation. It was not an overtime game. Right. San Antonio, they lose to. Then they beat the Pacers, beat the Pistons. Then they turn around, go back home, and they lose to the Pistons. Again, 125-114. They beat Miami. And then this is January 31st. So February comes around. Houston, they lose. They get bombed on by Houston, 120-88. They lose. They get bombed on by Orlando in Orlando, 116-89. That's when things changed. They make the trade. They beat Minnesota in overtime by 2. Beat Atlanta by about 14. Then they beat Boston.
The thing is, the trade deadline happened after the Minnesota game, right?
Yeah.
So those guys that were there,
that overtime win, that
Minnesota game, like Thomas and Crowder and all of them, Wade and all of them,
that was their last game.
They were there for the Minnesota game, but they were gone.
Yeah. So really, they've only this squad that they say, oh yeah, they've righted the ship. They've played 3 games together. I thought it was more. I thought it was closer to 10 because it's been so long. Because it's really been almost 3 weeks ago. It seems like. They been at games. Yeah, they weren't cleared. The trades weren't cleared until after the Atlanta game. So they played.
They only had like about eight players. Yeah, so it was 2.
I mean, the Atlanta game,
the Boston game, and the Oklahoma City game.
Kyle Korver had to go off for 30 points in that game to win. Like, Kyle Korver was the difference in the Atlanta game. He went off for 30 points. LeBron had 12.
Yeah.
So he ended up with a triple
12
double.
Points. 12 points, but they won. But it's the Hawks. So
It's the Hawks.
I'm not surprised.
I think they give away Hawks tickets in Atlanta, don't they? It's crazy.
They give away what?
They give away Hawks tickets, don't they? And it's funny because they're pretty much a perennial all-star team there, but the East is so weak that's what makes it. That's what makes it. So, yeah. I'm just kind of looking at this again. They got the Wizards, Grizzlies, San Antonio, Brooklyn, Philly, Denver, Detroit, Denver, Clippers, Lakers, Suns, Portland.
I mean,
Chicago.
You don't even have to go through all that. I mean,
how many of those teams are even 500?
They got Washington. They got Washington twice. They got Toronto twice. They have San Antonio once. On paper, those are their toughest games. All 5 of them are at home. All 5. So they really don't have any tough road games the rest of the season. None. Unless Milwaukee gives them problems or something like that. I don't know. You know?
The crazy thing
but that's
is,
pretty much it.
Like the Cavs are only 600 on the season. They're 6.5 games out of first place in the East to the Raptors.
And they could beat the Raptors twice. They can.
You know, I mean, the thing is that it's so maniacally set up to where they could just go on this tear because they're not really playing anybody. So what if they lose out the rest? If they playing out the rest of the season. So what if they lose 3 or 4 games the rest of the season? No big deal. That's huge momentum going into the playoffs.
Yep.
Against basically the same teams that they just played towards the end of the year. You know, I don't know. It's
18-4.
Boston and Toronto have tried to hold their own as much as they could over the last couple of years, and I don't know. I don't know what I honestly, again, I'm gonna get hate mail on this. I'd honestly like to see them. I think it almost would be better for LeBron, for his career, to get knocked out. You know, this is a perfect year for him to get knocked out. You know, they try to make all these moves, younger guys, and all this shenanigans. Like, what better year to get knocked out of the playoffs? You know, 1 year without LeBron in the finals. That would open the gate up for him having leverage so much. Like, I don't think anybody realizes it. Like, him out of the playoffs, sitting and watching and stewing about it, that puts Cleveland on watch more than ever. Like, they literally will have to be like, we're going to have to make some huge moves. Like, we'll pay whoever you want as much as you want. And, you know, that's the thing. That's the tough part because LeBron won't give any sort of guarantee to him. Him and Dan Gilbert do not get along. He does not like Dan Gilbert. I feel, again, I'm not told this, but I feel like LeBron James looks at him as this old, racist, drunken asshole that owns part of Quicken Loan. You know? I think that's how he looks at him. I don't think it's inaccurate to some extent. But still, it's kind of like I don't think they get along. at all. And I just think the funniest thing is the two best pieces that he's added to his team are Lakers. I think that's hilarious. And you know who might agree with me? Let me welcome in fellow Laker fan, Raiders fan, and one of our top analysts for football, Cali Mike. How you doing tonight, Cali Mike?
I'm doing great. What's going on, man?
You know, I was just telling James, I think it's funny, kind of ironic, that LeBron, the best two pieces that LeBron added to this in this trade thing was Larry Nance Jr. and Jordan Clarkson. I mean, two Lakers. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I almost didn't want to part with them too. I mean,
I didn't.
It's like
I was so upset. I didn't say.
Everybody wants the Lakers.
I like those two guys. Every time they keep talking, floating them out there, I'm just like, no, man, no. What are you doing?
Yeah, it's like it's like everybody wants the Lakers to like these big free agents, and it's like, I mean, my thing is, I honestly, I just think that they just need to just let them dudes grow. I mean, to me, they got a good young core. It's like, I mean, I don't want to see them, start dismantling that core. Which I guess I guess you say Jordan Clarkson. I don't want to see them start dismantling that core just to bring in a bunch of veterans. I mean, like I said, you bring in LeBron. Like I said, I'm a big fan of LeBron, but I mean, Bron only got to have. I mean, shit. How much longer can he play? Really? I mean, 5 years.
5 years.
So it's like, I mean, to me, it's like,
unless he's on that TB12.
Dudes, like I say,
maybe he's going to join on with TB12. Maybe he buys into TB12 and he stays till he's 45. Isn't that the number for TB12? 45?
And then
Can you imagine him in the league for 12?
George, I mean, he's already had a big injury this year. So, I mean, not this year, but he's already had a big career injury. I mean, it's like, to me, I mean, it's just like, like I said, I mean, in the Lakers, they've proven this year. I mean, like I said, I mean, this team this year is way better than last year's team. They're more excited. They're, like I said, they're getting better. I mean, to me, just the addition of Kuzma and Ball, I mean, it's like, they're playing at a different pace. I mean, like I said, to me, like I said, honestly, I think that, and like I said, I don't know if Luke Walton is the right coach for them, because I don't think they shoot well enough to play the kind of game that he wants them to play, like that Warrior style of shooting.
Yeah. But, see, that's why I don't know why they let Nick Young. That's why Nick Young probably should have kept Nick Young. As funny as it sounds.
No.
I mean, no. I mean, he was their highest shooting. He was their highest percentage shooter last year. So if you're predicating off a 3-point shooting game, how are you going to get rid of your highest percentage shooting? Highest percentage shooter.
The thing about Swaggy P though is when you get a guy that just think he would have been the veteran on that team, and he's not a leader.
You're right.
It's like
you're right.
He's not the guy you want to be. He's not the guy you want to be your veteran on your team. I mean, like I said, I think he made him going to the Warriors was a perfect addition. He can be on the bench, he can come out and shoot. Get it. See if he can get 10 points when they need it. But I mean, him. He's not. He's not the guy that you really want to. Like I said, he's not gonna pull your locker room together. If anything's gonna be. I mean, look at all the shit he got involved in. Already. With D'Angelo Russell. So it's like. He's gonna be divisive. I mean, like I said, I would have.
Wait, hold on.
I would. I mean, like I said, I would let him go. But I mean, like I say, to me, they just need. If they could get a piece like if they could get DeAndre Jordan, man, I think that would be so much.
Oh,
if they
please
get
don't.
It, trade him for Brook Lopez.
Please don't.
I like I said, I think if you could, you got to get somebody in there who can rebound and play defense.
All right,
But
that's all he can do. That's it.
That's all you need him to do, though. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. That's all you need him to do. You think about it. You get him, like I say, Kuzma, Randall. I mean, they're gonna get better. You know, Ball is gonna get better. Ingram is gonna get better.
Well, you know what though, you kind of like brought up something with the Lakers roster right now, and it like kind of like hit me, man. They really should go at this like how the Warriors were built up, even though I hate the Warriors. But it should be how the Warriors are built up. A lot of the guys that they got were drafted.
Yep.
You know, they didn't get them off of free agency. They chose who they chose, and they built, you know, a franchise with those guys. And then from there, they built up to where they are right now. You know, even though they cheated a lot, but they still built up the way they were built right now. And so with the Lakers, that's what you have. You have a lot of young guys right now. You have Lonzo Ball there, Caldwell Pope, Ingram, Randall, Kuzma, Gary Payton II. I'm like, wait a minute, Gary Payton's son on the team. I'm like, God damn. But you know that.
According to ESPN, he's not even getting paid. Because they put their salaries.
The Ball.
He ain't got a salary on there, so
yeah. You got Ball, you got Ingram, you got Randall. You can build off those three, and then you know get somebody. You don't necessarily have to get a LeBron James. To me, the thing with LeBron is that you know he could basically go anywhere. You know, but the thing is like, why go to the Lakers? You know, unless if you have somebody that you're going to be going there with. He's not going to – I don't think he would go to the Lakers by himself. He would have to have somebody, you know, that's you know, along there with him, like a Paul George or someone, you know, of that level to where he doesn't have to do a great deal of the work. Yeah, he is on the tail end of his career. Yeah, I do say that he has about 5 years left. But my thing is that he shouldn't have to be playing the amount of minutes that he's been playing, especially now since you really haven't seen a top player in the league play as many games as he has played over the past 7 years. Like, people don't even think about that. That's a lot. That's a lot of miles. Nobody in recent memory has really done that season after season after season. You haven't seen anybody do that. So, you know, why would you put that much pressure on on somebody that's 33 years old? I mean, that's crazy though. We were talking about, you know, the All-Star game earlier. And at the end of the All-Star game, they were talking about LeBron James being the MVP, and he was the oldest guy on the All-Star.
What is that?
I don't know. I don't know where the background was coming from.
Yeah, you know, sadly, you made a good point. It's like, you look at it, really, the last player to do that was Kobe. And it's like, you see how much that shortened his career. You know, I think if Kobe was, you know, coming on almost 40, you know, playing 39 minutes. If Kobe was able to just play like kind of like Tim Duncan minutes his last couple of years, I think he could play 3 or 4. You know, if he could have just been able to just play 25 to 30 minutes instead of like 38 to 40, you know, it's like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm trying to.
You know, it's like, come on.
What is that? You know, somebody running. Yeah. Gotta get off some websites. Somebody gotta get off some websites, cuz. You gotta get off some websites. But like, you were saying with Kobe, before his injury, right? He was logging in almost 39 minutes a game in those previous 2 seasons. But one of them, he was injured. So what it was, 58 games, played 58 games one season. But 58 games at about 39 minutes a game. I'm like, come on. At what, 34 years old? Come on, man. That's a lot. You know, that's, yeah. So and you look at what he was doing, over the past what 6? No, not even 6 seasons. I'd say about 8 seasons. With the exception of 2010, he was playing at least like 37 minutes a game, at least minimum. In a couple seasons, he was like 40 minutes a game. I'm like, nah, that's a lot, man. That's a lot. So when you think about like LeBron doing stuff like that, you're like, hey, that mileage is gonna be, wearing down a little bit. The engine gonna get a little bit rusty. You just don't know when.
See, that was Kobe's downfall. That's how it just kind of came up on him, because he didn't really have much with injuries, and then he had his ankle injury, then it was knee injury, then it was the other knee injury. So, but that's what made that the Mud Dogs let it go, the parody they did to Let It Go, telling him to retire. He had all them scars upon his knees and his legs. Kobe's my guy, but that shit is hilarious.
I mean, if I were the Lakers, even more than LeBron, I look at Klay Thompson, man. I think he'd be a good addition for them.
I think
have him come, give you a consistent outside threat.
I think Klay Thompson is a realistic guy that they could. They could get
that he's been the guy. Well, that I said at the beginning of the season that he kind of like the odd man out as far as like around that 4 with the Warriors. So I was thinking that he would probably go elsewhere after this season, but it'll just depend on like how things work out, because I don't know how they're going to restructure these deals for these players. So I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Well,
I mean, like I said,
you can't restructure in the NBA.
I'm looking at the 2019 list right here, and you got a lot of guys. I'm not even looking at this list. I'm looking at 2019. Like I said, you got guys, a couple of names. You got Klay Thompson gonna be a free agent. Then you got a lot of those rookies, that are coming out of their rookie contract. You got Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, he might not want to stay in Minnesota. He's restricted, but if he doesn't sign, they're gonna try to, they got to try to get some work out of him. Kristaps Porzingis. You got a lot of guys who might not want to stay where they are. Kristaps was thinking about, or they were talking about him leaving, this season.
Before this year, after last year, yeah.
I think a guy like Shabazz Muhammad, from Minnesota, like I said, guys like that I think could be good addition. Those two are stars. Shabazz Muhammad, he could be a good guy coming off your bench. And that's the thing I think the Lakers need to do. Get your bench solidified. You got, like I said, I like Kuzma. I like him coming off the bench, kind of, because he it seems kind of like he drives there. Get him a guy who he can match up with. You got Caldwell Pope. You got get them somebody else. Like I said, just get a rebounder, man, and just like I said, I wanted to get. I wish, like I said, I wish that if they would have already had, if the little Okafor was already on the net, I wish they would have got the little Okafor instead of Brook Lopez. Like I said, I really would have liked to see what Okafor could do on this team. He's a young dude, big dude. I really would have liked to see what he could do on this. He was not, to me, he was playing good. When he was in Philadelphia, Embiid was better. They didn't fit on the court together.
Yeah.
But I would like to see what he could do in LA.
That's the thing. The LA's thing has always been, they've always had some guys there, the role players, some organic pieces, but their biggest stars at least one of them has been from somewhere else. But their biggest stars has always been a drafted guy. I mean, look at like Magic. Magic, he was their guy. Kobe was their guy. You know, obviously Kareem came in as a free agent. Shaq came in as a free agent. But guys that they bring in at point or scorers are generally the guys that, you know, that's part of what they've drafted. So, you know, I know.
Yeah, I like if I'm the Lakers, I give it one more year. I mean, like I said, you got to see how Brandon Ingram develops. I mean, he's shown that he has it, but you know, he has to get bigger. He can't stay at that size, you know, and continue to try to play in the NBA. He's not, you know, he's got to get big. He's got to get bigger so he can get to the hole. I mean, like I said, you got to see. That's the
other reason they're playing him at point. They're trying to play him at point because they don't want him to take the beatings.
Yeah, I guess I don't even think he's gonna be. I don't think he'd be able to play point at that size. I mean, you're gonna have dudes like Westbrook that's gonna be shorter than him, that are thicker than him, that are gonna overpower. Like I said, he's gonna have to put on 15 pounds no matter what.
At least
like
16.
You got to see how Lonzo Ball.
I don't think 16 makes much of a difference on that guy.
I mean, it's, you know, it depends. You know, I mean, you know, if he, like I said, I think he's like what 6'9", like 205. I mean, he gets in that 230 range. You know, 220, 230. I mean, it's, you know, he ain't never going to be thick. You know, so you know, like I said, just put on 15 pounds. You know, just put on 15 pounds of muscle. You know, just muscle. Get your base. Get your leg. You know, get your legs quit looking like your knees.
Yeah,
together,
I mean,
you know?
Anthony Davis did a good job of filling out. But again, I think he was one of those guys that we always talked about. He was going to fill out anyways. He was kind of, you know.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid filled out.
You got to see Lonzo Ball. I think now you got to kind of, you know, you got to see if Lonzo Ball, see if he can stay healthy. You know, like I said, I think he's gonna. Like I said, I think, you know, like I said, I think he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be good, man. I know everybody has mixed opinions about him, but like I said, I've seen it on the court. When he's on the court, the Lakers are a better team.
Did you?
You know, and like I said, I think, you know.
Have you guys heard any of the interview with Kobe and Jalen Rose?
Yeah.
I'm gonna play about a minute of that, just at the beginning of it, here real quick.
Black Mamba, good day, my brother.
Man,
how are you, sir?
I'm good, man.
Good to see you.
Good.
We are here today at the Undefeated in LA, where they are releasing a special colorway of your first release with Nike.
Yeah.
The Nike Zoom Kobe 1 Pro Tro.
Yeah.
You smiling just hearing that
Kobe,
word.
you better send me a check for
because
the
you
plug.
basically invented it. Explain what Pro Tro means and why you and Nike decided to re-release this model.
Well, I mean, you know, the retro business is such a big business.
They're nice, though.
We all have that kind of feeling of nostalgia of bringing back the old, right? But, you know, my business is built on innovation, and so I didn't want to compromise that. So how do you pay attention to what was without compromising what should be? And so that's why I just took performance and retro and just combined those things to create Protro. So it's just taking the old and building those with the technology that we have available today without changing the aesthetic of it.
Kobe's the best bullshitter
You're also
ever.
introducing us to makers of the game here today with your fine shoe, the camo.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you should be proud of it. What does makers of the game mean to you?
Well, I mean, setting the standard, setting the trend for what culture is or will be. I mean, that's, you know, sports has always kind of been at the forefront of that. And what you see nowadays is really a mixture of sports and entertainment and how those two things intertwine and move culture forward.
I heard a story. It didn't make me happy. It
What's
made
that?
me cry.
What happened?
That you wore this shoe on a night that you scored 81 points in a basketball game.
That's true.
I happened to be present that night. You probably didn't see me because I was looking at the back.
I'm going to bring that back in here in a second because what I thought was at the beginning of the interview is actually like at the 5-minute mark. So we'll bring that back in here in a minute. But have you seen the shoes though, Mike? Did you scoop up a pair?
Oh yeah.
They're nice.
Yeah, shit. I think I like. I might still have my originals in my closet somewhere, man.
The black Adidas. Or
which
the
one? What? No, which one? I thought there was Lakers color ones. I got. Let me see. I think I got the yellow. Well, they're white, yellow, and purple one.
My favorites were the black Adidas, the ones that he molded after his Audi. Those were my favorites. People didn't like them.
You mean the ones that look
like boots?
They look like a toaster kind of.
A toaster. I'm offended. Offended.
Well, they look like a box, man. They look like that.
Yes. I'm talking about functionality. We're not talking about looks. I'm just saying those were my favorite because.
Bro, the best Kobe's to me were the Zoom Hirachis, the ones, the Air Zoom Hirachis, the 24. Those are the best ones, man. Like I said, I got 2 pairs of those in the closet right now. I love those, man. They were comfortable as hell, high top. Love them. And those were the ones you could do the Nike ID on. I did Nike ID on both pairs of those.
Trying to see where they're at on here.
Just like you, Kyrie Irving comes to mind, and I absolutely love it. And one of the things that people overlook in your career high points game is that you didn't show any emotion. You didn't chest thump. You didn't point to the crowd. Like, you stayed in the zone.
Well, we know that wasn't the truth. But anyways, moving along. We're getting close.
Start having 40. I'm like, I never get this. So how do you maintain that level of discipline?
It's hard, man. There's times where you come out of it, and even myself, when I come out of it, I'd be aware of bringing myself right back, right? Because sometimes you have those emotional outbursts, right? But then you got to find that center again because the next play is imminent. You're here, right? So the most important thing is really staying in the moment and staying present. That's all the zone is. Whether it's offensive and being in the zone or defensive being in the zone, what that really means is that you're simply here in the present, and the only thing that matters is what's right in front of you. And the trick is, how do you do that?
If Urban Magic Johnson, who I affectionately call the Hall of Fame mogul, reached out to you to help them recruit free agents, because this is a big summer for your Lakers.
Yeah.
2 max cap spots open. You got some young talent trying to get back to the championship level. What's your availability in helping the Lakers recruit free agents?
Recruit free agents. What does that even entail? Calling someone? Take them out to dinner.
A little babysitting, a little begging.
Here's the thing. I know.
Coddling.
That's why Howard left.
Yeah, I'm such a coward. I love that.
Look at these rings.
That's right.
Look at those banners.
Yeah, that's right up my alley. The thing about this franchise is that you shouldn't need recruiting to come here. Right? It takes a special person to want to play for this franchise and take the pressure that comes along with playing for this franchise. The pressure of following Magic's footsteps and myself and the dynasty that we've had. It takes a special person to do that. And if I need to convince you to come here to carry that legacy forward, you ain't the one to be here.
Now, we had this conversation about a certain player when he got traded here that will remain nameless. And at a time, the franchise, I think, kind of got out of character and tried to recruit this player to stay, so much so that there were billboards.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see how you felt, because I know you had a level of disgust based on what you just said.
Well, honestly, I didn't really give two craps about that, to be honest with you. It didn't really matter to me. The most important thing to me was whether or not the player wanted to be here himself, right? And then when you're here, the most important thing is winning championships. I don't care about anything else. It's winning championships. We don't have to like each other.
Yep.
But you will show up to practice every day and play hard. You will focus and commit to winning. And, if that's the case, then we'll be just fine. Yeah.
And
all the
not,
hoopla stuff. If not, you can go someplace else. Yeah, that's fine too. It's a certain personality that comes along with it. It's a brand thing. Lakers stand for excellence and stand for winning. We don't hang division banners. You know what I'm saying? We don't do that. You don't retire everyone's jersey. You retire a Hall of Fame jersey. You know what I mean? So, if the people that are here need to be able to live to that standard and hold themselves to that standard, which in turn then gives you the ability to hold everybody else to that same standard. If you can't do that, you can't be there.
Right. No doubt. Our fine network.
All right, so I'm gonna get some. I can feel James's frustration building up whenever Kobe talks. So James, let me get your first your feedback, not your feedback. Is he wrong?
In reference to what in particular on what he said?
You know, the standard of the Lakers, the brand of the Lakers. They shouldn't have to recruit people. People should just want to play for the Lakers. You know? Because, I mean, I buy into his argument. Because at the end of the day, if a player, if you're a baseball player and you played for the Yankees, did that make you a better player? No, but it did give you a certain different level of aura. You know? I mean, the fact that you were a Yankee, that makes a big difference. You know, in someone's career. It does. But
that for some reason that using the Yankees as a comparison seems a little bit different to me, because he's talking about like the whole thing with the Lakers legacy, right? But you know, before he got drafted there, right? So we had about a good 6 years or so after Magic retired the first time, before he got drafted, and they acquired Shaquille O'Neal. So,
well, they had to get Nick Van Exel first. Don't leave my pug face dude out, man. Nick Van Exel's beast,
and getting Eddie Jones too.
Yeah.
But then they got back to it. But the thing about it is, you talk about history of NBA teams. You had the Lakers. You also had the Celtics too. So, you know, both of those franchises weren't necessarily at the top of, you know, the league for a good amount of time until, you know, the Lakers first with their first home run, and then, you know, the Celtics finally, you know, getting their championship. So. You know, after that, I mean, this is a different league now. It's not like, you know, you have everybody wanting to play for a certain team because it's that team. The way that, you know, the NBA is set up now is that you can basically play for anybody and be set for life. If you have a good enough contract. So it's not like you have to play for the Lakers, or you have to play for the Celtics, or you have to play for the New York Knicks anymore. It's not like that now. That's why you were able to see the Clippers at least get to the point where they were able to get to, because the contracts kind of like welcomed that. So it's like, okay, nobody wanted to play for the Clippers. Who wanted to play for the Clippers 15, 20 years ago? Nobody, because they were the absolute bottom of the barrel. But then all of a sudden you have, you know, these acquisitions go down. They get Chris Paul, and then they draft Blake Griffin, and then they get DeAndre Jordan, and they're almost to the level, not completely, but as far as like people attending their games, they got to the level of the Lakers, you see. But so by seeing that, you say that, okay, not everybody or not every superstar wants to be, you know, part of the Lakers or part of the Celtics or part of the Knicks. That just doesn't work anymore. Because, I mean, you can bring up another example, LeBron James. People are talking about, oh, maybe he could play for the Knicks in the free agency. Maybe he could play for the Knicks. He didn't choose the Knicks. He went to Miami Heat. Why?
But the Knicks have been terrible forever.
Yeah, but the Knicks have been terrible forever. But at least with the Knicks, you knew that if you were the showcase guy,
you're going to have an erratic owner that doesn't even. There is no way that you would have a lot of attention. But the thing about it is, even erratic owner or not, you still don't have it to where you don't
you have to go to those teams to be famous or successful. LeBron has basically proven that.
I think it's about mindset. I think it's about mindset, man. You got to look at, like you said, I mean, back in the day, you know, you had a different style of play. I mean, like I say, Kobe was one of the last style of them type of, you know, them old school type of dudes that wanted to win and legacy match. I mean, these dudes, I mean, like I said, LeBron, you know, and like I said, I like Bron, but I mean, Bron does not have the instinct. You know, he doesn't have that killer instinct that these other cats. I mean, I don't know if any player in the league still does. You know.
What?
He doesn't. He does not.
What? No.
Don't bring up Bradley Beal.
No.
Don't be bringing up Bradley Beal now.
Nah.
No.
You don't become the best player in the league for as long as he's been and not have killer instinct.
Well, Chamberlain was, and he did.
No, Wilt Chamberlain. You know what the thing with Wilt Chamberlain was? Wilt Chamberlain was basically the tallest dude in the league, so he could do pretty much anything he wanted.
LeBron is the biggest, strongest dude in the league.
No. Nope. Nope. Nope.
What other 6'9", and like I say, he's probably 6'10", really. What other 6'9", and he has to be, look at LeBron, like you say, if LeBron came in the league and he was 250, he's at least 280 right now. So what other dude like that?
He's not 280. He's probably about 260, 265. He's not 280. Ain't no way.
He was supposed to be 250 when he came in the league. He's way bigger than he was when he came in the league. Way bigger.
I don't know.
Not even close. Way bigger.
He slimmed up a lot this year. In past years, I'd say yes, but this year he slimmed up.
Not anywhere close to where he was when he first came in the NBA. Not anywhere close.
We're not nowhere close to that.
Like I say, it's literally a Shaq and Orlando. It's not. Well, I wouldn't say a Shaq and Orlando situation, but like I said, he's noticeably gotten bigger. Like to where it's like he's not. Like I say, he's nowhere near. But like I say, he's okay. Let's say he's 270. Let's say I'll split the difference. Let's say he's 270. What 6'9", 270 dude in the league right now can move around like that? And keep in mind, this gentleman is 34 years old.
Wait, but you mean to tell me that he's like a Shaq? No, he's not like Shaq. No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Who
dude, Shaq was 73 pounds.
Let me finish. Name one player that can impose their will physically on LeBron.
What? You mean on offense?
No.
I'm talking about offense. On offense.
It's a short list. It's a short list. Like Boogie Cousins, you know.
No. Because here's the thing. Here is the thing, right? You're trying to compare LeBron James to like a Shaq, right? Is that what it is? You mean to tell me that you're going to have LeBron James in the post every single time on defense? Is that what it is?
No, he didn't say that.
I said.
So you're going. I'm saying on both ends of the floor.
LeBron.
On both ends of the floor.
Name one player who can impose their will physically on LeBron.
I would say, first off, Durant. That's number one.
No, he's going to win.
No.
Win. And we can go through film. You show me when Durant has ever physically
Wait. When LeBron's on defense?
On any aspect, yes. On any aspect. Physically dominated. Not Kevin Durant called him, but you shoot over. I'm talking about physically dominating that man. Kicking his ass, crossing him over, beating him down the court. Physically dominated, beating him in the post.
Wait. But all right, so he can't be physically dominated. But here's my thing. Here's my thing, right? Why don't you see LeBron James on any type of all-NBA defense?
He's been on hella all-NBA defenses. What do you mean?
No, I'm talking about like all-NBA defense, like defensive player of the year type of thing. You see what I'm saying?
He's been on hell of them.
Oh?
Yes.
He has? He has?
Yes.
You know about that, man.
Shit, I'm gonna look it up right now. LeBron.
I see him on five of them. Let's see, defense 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's it.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Nah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Where do you see? No. Where do you see? All right. Where do you see him as defensive player of the year, getting those type of votes? Where do you see him as? You don't see him there now. How long has he missed? How long has he missed all defense? 4 straight years, right?
He got to be all defense. He's 34 years old.
But Tim Duncan wasn't all defense.
And he's not 34 yet. He's 33.
Tim Duncan. Oh, 33, yeah. But come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
But, hey, Tim Duncan wasn't.
Yep. And I'm looking at LeBron's intro stats. They said he was 6'8", 250 when he came in the league. He's way bigger than he was when he came in the league.
They talking about he's still 250, dog. But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You're saying that, okay, there's nobody out there that could physically like impose their will on them. But the problem is that the way that he plays his game, he doesn't make it to where he's dominating on both sides of the floor.
Yeah. What more does he need to do? He was all defense. You just came out of your mouth that he was all defense 5 times. I mean, it just came out.
Not this year. Not this year, buddy.
This year ain't even over yet.
He ain't gonna be on no all defense, man. Man, like I said, Tim Duncan was in the all defensive team pretty much every single year of his career.
Tim Duncan was overrated as hell.
All right, so I don't agree with you, but I just sent over to you guys. So this was on February 11th. All right, February 11th.
Seconds.
There's a video I just sent over to you, an Instagram video of LeBron on February 11th, pregame warming up, with a medicine ball and some stuff like that. He's probably 275. I think 275 is probably pretty fair.
Thank you.
60 seconds.
What player are y'all looking at? And he has not. I mean, he's still almost as fast as he was. He's out there whooping these dudes' asses. Now, if Wilt Chamberlain, okay, let's be real. If Wilt Chamberlain had Bill Russell's instinct, wouldn't they have won? Or even, I mean, if he had Kareem, I mean, wouldn't he have won 10 championships in a row like the Celtics did?
He would have had at least 5 rings.
At least. I mean, like I said, this is Wilt Chamberlain. Literally, he was the tallest player. I mean, nobody could block his shot. he was literally bigger than everybody else. I mean, come on.
10 seconds.
It's just, like I say, if Shaq would have had that type of instinct, and we were talking about that, in the group, if he would have had that type of instinct, Lakers would have had way more championships.
If he could figure out
Magic would have had a championship.
He figured out how to shoot free throws. There, I screenshot it. So there's a picture now. You see it?
The thing with Shaq is he needs to hit free throws, but no, still.
You see
Shaq was lazy.
Hey, you see the picture?
Yeah.
Where do you think you put in the group? Let me see.
No, I direct message.
That dude is huge. that dude is way bigger.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt. Hey, put a picture of LeBron James beside a picture of Deontay Wilder.
Bomb squad.
Look.
Yo, I think LeBron. No, real talk. I think LeBron James is bigger than Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, he is bigger than Deontay Wilder.
I'm gonna post this picture of LeBron from his rookie year. Look at the way his jersey fit, dude. LeBron was really. Come on.
Hey, that was a style. That was 2002.
I mean, dude, dog,
come on,
he
man.
had to be like 230 St. Vincent, St. Mary's. Ain't no way he was 250 then. Can't be.
Look at. They weigh you in officially when you come in. You was 6'8".
Come on, man. High school, they lied weights in high school, man. Come on, man.
I'm talking about when he came in the league. That dude was too. Like I said, he's way big. It's not even close. Look at that. Look how his jersey hanging off him. Look at his neck. Look at his chin. Look at his face. That dude is way bigger. Come on, man. He's out there whipping people's asses. Way bigger.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, man. I'm saying.
I mean, like I said, you gotta. I mean, I see what Kobe. Like I said, it's Kobe. You know, I mean, like I said, it's not. I mean, I can't really think of any player in the league that has that type of mentality. You know, I mean, like, you know, it's like, I mean, like, I think Westbrook might, but I mean, Westbrook's also crazy, so I don't think he really cares where he'd be at. You know, but I mean, these other dudes, I mean, it's the sign of the times, man. But I do think, like I said, I do think the Lakers could use a good veteran, though. You know, I would like to see them get a good veteran on there. I don't know who could possibly go there right now.
What position?
You know what I really like? I like how James got to the taking a shot at Deontay Wilder before I did. I like that. I appreciate that.
Hey, remember they said I was the biggest Deontay Wilder hater around, so why not take a shot?
Have y'all seen him on WAG?
Oh,
no.
wow.
Atlanta?
No, I'm
Oh,
not.
man.
Yeah, he's on this reality show. His girlfriend or his wife or whoever is on there called Wags Atlanta, and he's on there too.
Yo,
and he's like,
you know what?
I think like
him. I'm gonna take some credit for this.
And like all these other kind of ex-athletes.
For real though, I'm gonna take some credit for this because, I mean, I've been adding him and with all kinds with official accounts and all kinds of stuff, adding him for so long that they finally kind of gets his name out there somehow. I mean, you know, it's not the right target, but anyways, at least he's doing something. You know, I don't know.
I was surprised to see him on there.
But yeah, it's like I think most people are like, "Who is he?"
He's the most. Well, like I said, he's technically the most famous dude on there. I mean, they got like, you know, like Harry does. They got like a bunch of old ex-football players. So like he's like the most famous dude on there.
That's not saying much. Then.
He's the most famous.
Yeah. Really.
Who else is on there?
It's like, let me see. Hold on. It's him. It's Harry Douglas. It's that pitcher that got arrested for drugs.
That one.
Let me see. Wags. It's a whole cavalcade of misfits.
Yeah.
Sounds like his.
Yeah, Andre Caldwell. Deontay Wilder, C.J. Mosley.
Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes. Yeah. But yeah, that's, I guess, yeah. I mean, and it's not the linebacker C.J. Mosley either. It's the other C.J. Mosley, the dude that's already out of the league, the defensive tackle. Yes, I guess you would say that Deontay Wilder is a famous dude on there. It says they got Sincerely Ward on there. I don't know if that's Hines Ward's wife or ex-wife, but I don't know.
You know, that's crazy. If Deontay, you have to, you know how deep that's like the Z list. they're like they're deep in the alphabet on the list. I'm not gonna say the Z list. Maybe like the F list. I mean,
well, you got to figure. I mean, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel because they have like 8 of these other kind of shows anyway.
Yeah, I mean scraping the bottom of the barrel.
This is the third WAG. Yeah, because I mean, this is just in WAGs. This is the third WAGs. They have WAGs, the original WAG, which is in LA. Then they have WAG Atlanta. Then they have WAGs Miami. So they already have 3, and that's just WAGs. That's not like Real Housewives or Ballers' Wives or Basketball Wives or, you know, any of the other 80 billion shows about broads that really don't even be married to these dudes either. You know?
Yeah. That's tell you something right there, though.
Yeah, I don't know any. Yeah, they're not not that many famous dudes on there.
Like, I have no idea who that is. I don't know who that is.
Like I said, well, like I said, literally Deontay Wilder and Cody Rhodes is probably the most famous dude on there, and Cody Rhodes is a wrestler. And I really only know Cody Rhodes because of his dad, his brother.
Yep.
Dusty Rhodes and Gold Dust. So.
Yeah. He is not. Did he wrestle?
Yeah, he wrestled. Yeah, he wrestled, but he's like over in. I think he's what he did. He's doing Ring of Honor right now. I don't know. He might have been in WWE for a little bit.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Oh yeah, I'm looking here. Okay, 2-time Intercontinental Champion and 6 tag team. Oh, 6-time tag team champion. Okay, wow. I didn't know that.
I don't remember anything after NWO.
Yeah.
Or NW. Yeah.
Why is the black woman too? Wow.
Yeah. That's like who it is ain't that chick that's married to with Roman Reigns or something, or whoever it is?
Oh really?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's Roman Reigns or somebody else. Nah.
I have to check in. I didn't know that either. But I know.
No. She's not a wrestler. She's like a doctor. What the? Hold on, man. From Jacksonville. What? Hold up, son.
Wilder's wife?
No. We were talking about the thing with the wrestling. So I was saying, I thought another black chick that was wrestling was married to Roman Reigns, but no. This chick from Jacksonville, man. There's some other wrestler, but anyway.
Well, I remember his dad. Dusty Rhodes used to have Sapphire as his valet. And I don't know if you know that. She was like an old black lady.
Yeah.
Looked kind of like Aretha Franklin, and she used to be his valet.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm looking here. Yeah, apparently she's passed away now too. Wow, that's too bad. Yeah, Dusty Rhodes passed away too. I see, but man, speaking on a side note, have you ever noticed how early in life these wrestlers die? These dudes must be on some powerful ass steroids, man.
They are. Either steroids or drugs or whatever it is. But
yeah, real talk, man. I be looking sometimes I'll go and look at some of the old wrestlers from the '80s. Like all them dudes are dead, dude. Literally, Like Hogan is like the only one that's still alive.
I know. Hogan.
Yeah. Hogan and Flair.
Hogan, Flair, The Undertaker.
Taker 90, but I mean all the dudes like Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect. I mean all them dudes, you know. Macho Man.
Yep.
The Barber.
Like them dudes are gone. Fucking who else is that? Roddy Piper.
Yep.
You know,
Jake the Snake.
All them dudes is gone, man.
Yep. Jake Roberts. Yep.
I'm just gonna go on a limb and assume Yokozuna is.
Oh yeah, he passed a lot.
Yeah, that's a while ago.
Dink and Doink.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, whoa. Wait, hold on.
Jake the Snake is still alive. Looking at Jake the Snake here, he's still. I think the other dude, Ravishing Rick Rude might be dead though.
Yeah.
I know Diamond Dallas Page is still alive. He's into yoga. The DDP yoga.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake, isn't that the one he saved? He said he saved his life because he was like diabetic and it was really going downhill quick.
Oh
for him.
no. Rick Reed, and a lot of them died of these heart attacks too, man.
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
That chick Naomi is married to the Uso, one of the Uso dudes, who's part of that family.
Oh, okay. Well, they got a lot of part. They got a lot of part black in them too. I don't know if I told you. My dad used to live around the corner from the Tonga Kid. And I don't know if you remember him. There's this. He's part of that. He's part of that family too. There's this old movie called, I think it's called like Body Slam or something, I think it's called Body Slam.
Mm.
And he was in this movie, and he's part of. He's one of the. His name is Sam Fatu, and he's part of that. Like they're all like we used to they all used to come over there, and like we used to see like all of them, dude. Like they're all like Fatu, Yokozuna. The Rock came over there before. Like they're all part of the family. They're all wrestling shit. And like Sam, he had some sons, and his sons were big as hell, dude. Like they were like 5 years old and like already 5 feet tall. Walking around like they just walk like seriously, they were like little babies, and like he would have them like run around in the yard wearing them them kilt like wrap type little things that they wear, Seriously, they were all hella big.
Little Maui's running around.
And I think 2 of them actually wrestled. Yeah. Well, his wife actually, they had two babies, and his wife actually died while giving birth to the babies, and then came back alive, and then the babies ended up being hella big. So it was like. But yeah, Umaga's he's Umaga's brother too. Like they're all related.
See, they just need to learn what a C-section is, and that would have saved her life the first time. I mean, I'm just saying, like.
Well, when I told him, it's like, dude, he used to try to get them in a wrestling. Like you need to put these little dudes on the football field, man. But I think 2 of them went into wrestling. And one of them used to cause a lot of trouble in the community. I think he actually went another direction. But yeah, they like I said, they were all huge. It was like 4 of them.
Yeah.
The head shrinkers, they're all part of the same family. Samoan.
Yep, remember them. Yep, Yokozuna, head shrinkers, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they all came. My cousin's barbershop is around the corner, and they all came, like he has a picture like with all of them, like all of them in one picture, like The Rock, Yokozuna, Fatu, and his other brother, the other head shrinker. They got like a picture with all of them. Yeah, they would always be around. Which let me know the wrestlers made that much money back then. Cause it's like, damn, dude, you live in this community?
Yeah.
Yep. They was up there with you in Rancho Cucamonga. Don't lie.
Yeah, no, it really shit. Rancho Cordova. Yeah, like you say, yeah. You know, but they were always a lot of fun though. I like Samoans, man. They have a lot of fun and they eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
You know, you always go over their house for a party.
They could eat a lot of food.
Man, telling you.
Crazy how much they consume, man.
Yeah. They put it down. I'm telling you, they parties be amazing. Man.
Oh yeah.
All right. So let's. I wanted to.
They like Samoan parties combine all the drunkenness of a Mexican party and all the food of a black party.
Yep.
That's definitely a walk. Drop the mic and walk away comment.
Yeah.
All right, I just did the side by side. I sent you over the side by side.
Who? LeBron?
LeBron and Wilder. There you go, James. It's in yours now.
All right.
Oh, yeah, he's way bigger now.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Brian is 6'8", 6'9".
And that's what Wilder said he is. He says he's.
And Wilder's 6'7", 6'6". I mean.
Well, and that's the other thing. You know, for some reason, these dudes, I don't know, they're like, a lot of these players, they don't like being called taller. Like, you know, like, it's like, you could tell they've clearly gotten taller. It's like Kevin Durant. It's like, dude, you're 7 feet now. You know, and like, he admitted he was 7 feet on, like, one interview he did. Like, once he's like, yeah, I think I'm 7 foot.
He's self-conscious about an inch.
No, I mean, remember Duncan did that for the longest time. He would always call himself 6'11". And it's like, dude, really? You know, like you're 7 foot, dude.
You know, it has to be so. I mean, I'm 6'3".
Garnett used to do it.
We went to Busch Gardens yesterday, right? And the kids had me ride on the Grover roller coaster. It's a kids roller coaster. I'm 6'3". I'm telling you, and again, I fit like a leg and a half underneath the little clamp that's supposed to hold you into the roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even fit 2 legs on. I had to sit Perky Perry, Indian style, cross leg, whatever you want to call it, in a roller coaster in order for it to close. Like, and it's not even like.
I wouldn't have did that, dude.
Oh, it didn't turn.
I
mean, it's a little kids one. It pretty much stayed level the whole time.
Okay.
It's a kids one.
Okay.
You ain't gonna catch me on like the Sheikra. Hell no. I'll pee on myself every time I go on the Sheikra. I know it's gonna drop me straight down.
Yeah, no, like they.
I know.
Yeah, they for some reason I think I read an interview like it said like the basketball players like there's a stigma like being called 7 foot because like then I guess you have to be a center or something like that. But like you can tell all these dudes they like to be called 6'10" or 6'11". It's like, dude, you're 7 feet tall. Cut it out. You know.
And this is a really good. This is a good game between Chelsea and Barcelona that was last night that they're replaying today. It's funny because like two of his teammates are like over here like pretending like they got hurt. I don't ever know if they really get hurt in soccer or not. I assume most of it's just pretend. But he's kind of like, dude, get up. Let's fucking play soccer. I mean, what are you doing, buddy? Let's get up, buddy. There he goes.
I don't mess with soccer, man. The only time I ever played soccer, I ended up with a 3rd-degree ankle sprain, man. And that was my first and last time ever playing soccer. And I was like, nope, I'll never do this again.
Because that's when you learn what a 3rd-degree ankle sprain is.
Yeah, well, I thought it was broken, and I wasn't even supposed to be outside. I ended up getting a whipping. I wasn't supposed to be outside. my mom was like, "Don't go outside." And like, I was, so you'd be sitting by, I was sitting by the window, and like we had just moved to this neighborhood, and like I saw these Mexican kids outside. They're all running around. I'm like, "Oh man, I'll go outside and play." And they pulled out a soccer ball. I'm like, "What the hell?" So I tried to kick it, and my foot went on top of the ball, and I flew up in the air and did this crazy split where my ankle twisted behind me in an unnatural way, and it was crazy.
They laughed at you, didn't they?
I hobbled home, and my mom came home. My mom
I know they laughed at you. I'm laughing at you right now.
Oh. Well, like I said, it was my last time playing with them. I was like, that's what y'all know, boy. And I went home and I'm hobbling around, and my mom came home. She was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "Nothing." And I tried to put it off for so long, but it hurt so damn bad. She had to take me to the hospital. They gave me this an air cap. Actually made it feel better.
Shit, you know how expensive air casts are? Back then? Bruh, that's why you got your ass whooped.
I never understood how they worked, because you didn't I said, all it was I didn't it just strapped up on both sides with the little strap thing, but it made my legs look completely better, and I didn't I couldn't figure out how maybe it was stabilizing the ankle or something, but without it, my ankle hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But with that thing on, I could actually walk with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it stabilizes it. Puts pressure on it. Takes strain off it. Like you're walking on air, kind of,
Yeah, like I said, it did something, because we went to Six Flags that weekend.
All right.
I'd stuff it down in my shoe too. It was crazy.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about the NFL. We had a whole wave of players released today. It seems like most of them were in Tampa. The Bucks decided to part ways with Doug Martin, saving them $6.75 million this year, and basically $20.75 million over the next 3 years, because he got caught 2 years ago with performance-enhancing drug, Adderall. It voided all the guarantees on his contract. So they said, "Hey, we'll keep you. We'll pay you the big bucks as a big dollar running back as long as you perform." Well, he neglected to rush for 500 yards in the last 7 games of the season, and they parted ways with him. They also released Chris Baker, who was one of their star free agent acquisitions at the beginning of last season, saving them $3 million of the $4.75 million he was due in 2018. So it's two big parts that they parted ways with. Robert Ayers may or may not be the next guy on the way out. McDonald, Clark, and Sigia, the guy signed, the Samoan guy they signed at free agency towards the end of last season. They're all free agents again this year. So McDonald has been their most productive, consistent guy there as a run stopper for the Bucks the last 2 seasons since they've had him. And even Pro Football Focus has graded him out as probably the most valuable guy outside of Gerald McCoy on that defensive line. Noah Spence is coming back off an injury. Jock Smith is too. They were hoping to get those guys kind of coming from the right and from the left. They're probably going to be looking at restructuring Will Golson's contract, because he's he's that 6 technique, that 5-6 technique, and he's better off as a rotational 3 technique. So it's kind of like he doesn't get to the pass rusher. He's good in situations where they want to give McCoy a rest. That's about it. But he's overpaid for what his value is for the team. So they're probably going to look at restructuring his contract. If he doesn't restructure, they might cut him loose. So out of the guys that they started with the offensive line, right now, Will Golson, Gerald McCoy are the only 2 that are not on an injury list that are still on the roster. Ayers is, for now. Again, Russell was a free agent, so he's a restricted free agent. So they may keep his option or let him go to pick up a compensatory pick. So it's a lot of turnover. I mean, just that was just in Tampa. So it's those were the biggest ones. And Brian Cushing, he was a guy with the Texans, linebacker. He's probably been one of the cornerstones of their defense for 9 seasons, basically since they've existed. And they released him today. So it's been kind of a crazy day to see some pretty big, pretty well-known names entering into the free agent market. So we'll see where some of the stuff leads. I think this thing is like this free agency is going to be a bit disruptive, I think, in some sense to the draft, because when you have guys essentially like Kirk Cousins out there on the open market, when you have other basically all the quarterbacks in Minnesota, except for Bridgewater. He's the only one that's not. Bridgewater is also no. He has one more year left on his rookie deal, right? Am I right about that?
I think he can be cut. I think he has the player option or whatever, or team option.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think they were thinking about cutting. I think they were thinking about cutting. Getting rid of both of them, though, from what I heard.
And that's the thing but I mean, Minnesota, it just seems like they can't do anything wrong, because it doesn't matter what quarterback that they've had there or brought in, they've all kind of worked, Bridgewater was there, he worked.
Yeah.
Then he went down, they got Bradford, he was working, Case Keenum comes in, he worked. I mean, it's like.
Well, I think, like I said, I think they gotta, I think they're gonna make a move for Cousins,
Yeah, he is 2018, so he has a player option, or they have a team option of picking up a $6.85 million contract for next year. That would be his. But they would they'd probably arbitrate that, because that's his cash. They're saying his cash would be the cash hit, but there's no right now. He's at a point where he's no cap hit. There's no dead money on him, but I think that's what would be left if they wanted to pick up that option. I mean, he's only been making $1.3 million. But never mind. That's the total cash that he's gotten to this point. Sorry, I was reading it wrong. So I mean, they're really in the driver's seat. It says he's so far he's gotten $5.49 million guaranteed with signing bonuses plus his salary from the 2014 to 2016, and they have a 5th-year option available, so they can pick him up. Again, I don't know what that would be. I would think it'd be closer to like $2 million because it goes up, $300 or $400. So it'd be closer to $2 million. So probably like 1.8. So you could keep Bridgewater for 1.8, let's say, for another year, and then you'd have him as a backup for at least another year because that's a team option. Then he would be an unrestricted free agent in after 2018. Or they can drop the option and let him be an unrestricted free agent, or they can trade him before or right after the beginning, because I think they have till the 5th day of the league year is usually when that money's due to make a decision. They might actually have a little bit. It's till March. They might have till sometime in March. I gotta go back and look at the calendar. But there's a time frame where they can trade him, so they could trade that option away. So essentially, treating him like a restricted free agent because they could pick up the option and then trade that. So they're trading an option instead of the actual contract. But some players like that because then they're be traded to a place that they know he'll extend the contract. And that's the other thing with Kirk Cousins. He says, if I get franchise tagged and then traded, I will not sign a long-term deal with wherever I get traded to. He wants it on. He essentially wants to treat it like a no-trade clause. Like, if I'm going to go somewhere, you let me go now in free agency so I can sign, a 5 or 6 year deal somewhere else, or you franchise tag me and I don't play.
I don't see why they don't. I don't see why Washington to keep. I don't know what the hell Washington thinks they're doing, but I don't know, man. That franchise is just.
It doesn't make any damn sense.
Dan Snyder's been making like I said, you draft this dude as insurance for RG3, and that actually works out. And then it's like you don't want to keep him, and he's turned into one of the better quarterbacks in the league.
Yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't know. You can't just. I don't know. Washington is so screwy. I've never quite understood where they place their logic in some of the stuff. They make some good moves. They've drafted well, But that's the thing is, like, when it comes to free agents, re-signing their own guys and free agents, it's just they've been a fumbling mess, That overpay for guys that never perform. Look at the last two nose tackles that the Bucs have picked up from Washington have been Chris Baker and Hainsworth, neither of which worked out. Basically epic crash and burns. I think Chris Baker had half a sack last season. And in that scheme, he needs to penetrate. In that scheme. It's not one of those schemes where it's, how like Maryland, like, for example, Maryland plays that defense. It's not don't penetrate, sack the quarterback. It's hold the line, hold position, and let it come to you, which I think is so stupid. Like, I don't get that. Like, your whole idea is just let them throw it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is key.
I had to go. It's one of my in high school. In high school, one of my coaches wanted us to do that on the line. His thing was he wanted the defensive tackles to stuff the gap and take up the guard, and take up the guards basically, and then let the linebackers come in and make the plays. And it was disastrous.
Yeah,
I couldn't wait.
That doesn't.
It was really disastrous. That was like my first playing D tackle too, and I hated it.
Yeah. It's the funny thing is like Poona Ford will probably excel in that sort of a role. Because that's what he's not really a get up the field kind of guy. He's a hold the line and stop the run guy. That's what he does. He's a cork. You know? And he's like 5'10", 300 pounds. You know? He's as wide as he is tall. So it's like, you know, it works. That works for him. And I think he'll do well wherever he goes, as long as he's put in a situation where he's not going to have to penetrate the line, and he's not going to be asked to do much besides, you know, be in the way and stop the run. So.
I mean, to me, you know, like I said, I think, you know, these guys, I've always been in this, you know, in the mindset of, if you're a D lineman, get your ass in the backfield. I mean, to me, there's, you know, you want to be able to stop the run, but I mean, you know, shit, the quicker you get your running back, the quicker you can stop the run. You know, it's like, to me, you just don't want to do over penetration. You can, you know, you can stay at home and get penetration at the same time. But, you know, the way that they have some of these guys, you know, it's like, you know, pretty much it's like you're there just to occupy guys.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
you occupy, you know, you got your nose tackle, he occupies the center and the guard, and the other guy occupies the guard. And, you know, it's like, you know, and then they stay there at the line. You know?
I always thought the philosophy was with interior defensive linemen, you want to at least get 3 yards. You don't want to go much further than 3 yards, because 3 yards is going to be enough to bust the pocket. It's going to be enough to get to the running back wherever he's at. And you're usually not in a position to where now you're too far out of position. Like if you get more than 3 yards upfield and you haven't got a hold of somebody, you went too far.
You get 3 yards, you're disrupting the hell out of you.
Yeah.
You know, you get 3 yards, you're winning every time.
Yeah. So that's the thing. It's like, because it's a straight line. You're going from the guy that has the ball to go get the guy that now has the ball, you know? So if your focus is getting up the field, if you can get 2 to 3 yards up the field with penetration, you don't have to go further than that. But if you can get that to begin, and that's the thing is, like, again, bigger guys like that, shorter, bigger guys, they may have leverage, but unless they got that bull rush down, they don't get small, you know, because that's the thing is, like, 3 technique or defensive end, there are a lot of times to beat those double teams, they want you to get small, you know, get sideways and get small and get upfield. But when you're a big guy like that, I mean, if you're 5'10" tall and 5'10" wide, you're not getting small, you know. You got to use your strength and, you know, abilities to push people around and change people's center of gravity. So that'll be, you know, I don't know. I think there's did you see the guys I sent you the names of?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if you had a chance to look them up yet, though, but they're worth looking up. It's like, one guy I think is going to be a guy, he'll end up, he's not a combine guy, but he's going to be like one of those diamonds in the rough. His name is Joe Oatsman. Joe Oatsman out of Central Michigan. He was, at one point in time last year, he was the nation's sack leader. He actually, I think he had.
Did your boy Brandon Flowers? Did he get invited to the combine?
Who? The receiver.
Isn't that his name? QB from USF.
I don't know. I didn't look. I don't know. He might have. I'm looking right now.
I wonder if he did. I wonder if he got invited as a quarterback or another position too.
I'm looking.
No, it's probably another position, man. Because
nope, they have him here as a quarterback.
It was like in another.
Nope, the draft. They have him here as
interesting.
They have him as a 6 foot, 110-pound quarterback. He's not 6 foot. They haven't officially measured him yet. But I have a sneaky suspicion that 6 foot.
No, he got at least 210.
Wait a minute, you said 110?
No, I
210.
said 6 foot 210.
Oh, I thought you said 110. Hey, what?
Yeah, he's 110 pounds.
He's a supermodel.
He caught that itis.
The scouting combine.
He caught the itis.
Now he'll be in the combine.
Yeah, he's at the combine. He's there. I don't think. He's not 6 foot though. What's our AAC measurement?
So what's the deal, man? What's going on now? We're in overtime right now. What's going on in Florida, man? Isn't that school shooting? Was that in your area, man?
No, that's down by Miami.
Oh, that was South Florida.
Yeah, South Florida.
Yeah.
Man, what's going on in Florida, man? What y'all gonna do out there, man?
Oh boy.
About what? Well, the thing is, in the legislature, they introduced today a ban for assault weapons, and they shot that down.
That shit ain't gonna pass.
No, they shot it down.
Oh, yeah.
Swiftly. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be, at this point, any sort of compromisable ground at all. And I don't know.
Well, you know what the problem is? What I've noticed is, like, these guys, you got people on two different planes of thought.
Yes.
You got these people that want to ban assault weapons, which, like I said, that's not going to happen. Like I said, it was a perfect storm for that to happen in the first place. It's just not ever going to happen again.
Yeah.
Especially on the federal level.
Well, see, that's the thing is, like, I don't get why they want to do these things. Like, federally, they create these laws that have expiration dates. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it temporary?
Yeah.
Like, you want to ban, like, so you've banned machine guns. Like, we're not voting on that again, are we? No. It's permanent. Like, you can't have a bazooka, you can't have a tank. It's permanent. So if you don't want people to have assault rifles, military assault rifles, then make it permanent. Stop dicking around. If you don't want people to have it, then make it happen, you know? And that's just the thing is, like, I mean, I get the fun part of it, but it's not even like nobody's entering a compromise saying, hey, listen, here you go. We're going to take them away from private use, but you can have it at shooting ranges. Select shooting ranges can have them for recreational purposes. So they're under watch. You're under supervision. Yeah. So, I mean, just saying, it's like, at least like that's a that's almost like the ultimate compromise. It's like you can't personally have them anymore because too many people are going out and killing people with them. So if you want to have fun with them, we have these places you can have fun with them at. Or you can have them not at all. So, like, those are your options.
What they're going to have to do is they're going to have to change. They're going to have to change the rules on the background check. I mean, like I said, out here in California, we got super strict rules that I fucking hate. But it's like, I mean, to me, somebody being able to go buy a gun with no background check and no ID, that's just crazy. They had to change it. And they have to add in. A mental health check in that background check. I mean, to me, it's like,
well, here's the thing is,
that, I mean, like I said, that would, I mean.
I'm going to, honestly, so I had this conversation with my wife. She's a clinical psychologist. So the background check they do with mental health for people, most people, just about everybody will pass that. And even the people that have had these weapons and done and had mass shootings because of it, they likely would have also passed those mental health background checks because, again, they're doing a background check on mental health. So that would mean that they would have had to have been in an office in a certain amount of time, diagnosed with something to where essentially it's to a red flag. Like they would have been Baker acted, or they would have had to have suicidal ideation. They would have had to been in a situation where it gives up red flags. So just having somebody that has a mental disorder or some sort of mental illness would not disqualify him from getting a gun.
I mean, like, Well, when I say mental health background, I don't necessarily mean coming in and taking a mental health assessment.
Yeah.
I'm talking about more like I said, this guy had several red flags that he wasn't in a didn't have the mental facilities to have a firearm. He had several of them.
Yeah.
It's like like I said, if you're not allowed to have a backpack at school, you don't need to be able to buy a gun. And it's like, so like I said, they got to start there. And I mean, like I said, there's never going to be a concrete answer, because whether people don't realize it or not, there's already too many guns out on the street.
Yeah.
There's, like I said, there's however many guns I think people are getting, there's tons of guns on it, and they're actually cheaper on the streets than they are in the stores. But I mean, like I say, it is a deterrent. Like I said, they 10-day waiting period, whatever. That it is a deterrent to make. Like I said, the shit has stopped me from buying guns out here.
Right. Hey, run back what you said again.
Guns are cheaper on the street than they are in the stores.
They're cheaper on the street than they are in the exactly. And that's the thing that.
And the streets could be literally in the streets. It could be. We talking about gun shows, like it could, including all that stuff. Could gun like right now, like I think it's the 24th through the 28th.
People
is the Tampa gun show, which is one of the largest gun shows in the region. So,
I mean, people are talking about this whole thing with mental health and the whole thing we're trying to ban, quote unquote, ban assault weapons. I'm gonna just put it right out there. People aren't being real about this whole thing with guns, man. It's like Cali Mike said, you could get the gun off the streets pretty much easier than you could get them off in the stores. And if you can't really stop that, number one, and then two, you can't stop basically guns coming in from other means, then this stuff can and potentially has the ability to continue to happen. It's like the whole thing with the so-called, people are going all up in arms about, banning guns and banning assault weapons and banning rifles and things like that because of this one incident. We've had multiple incidents like this all over the nation, time after time after time, and ain't say nothing about banning assault weapons.
The thing is, they were banned. They were banned under the Clinton administration.
But the thing about
there was a timeline on it. So 8 years later, under the second part of the
even if it's banned on principle, how are you going to completely enforce it? That's the problem.
Nothing. I mean, if you look at it completely enforcing anything, nothing's ever completely enforced ever. There's always a workaround for something.
When you say
but
I mean that's just a gesture, though, Matt. Really, because I mean, look at like I said, when the original assault weapons ban, during the '90s, the crime rates was higher than they ever been. Murder rates was high as shit. It didn't stop anything.
They said some of that.
Columbine happened during the assault weapons ban.
Well,
come on, man.
No, I know what you're saying. No, I know outright ban, but again, it didn't. The assault weapon ban before didn't cover all forms of assault. Again, it didn't cover them all. There was select the ones that they.
But what I'm saying though is
they banned
a lot of these shootings don't even be assault weapons though.
With the mass shootings.
Yeah, Columbine. No assault weapons were used. Those were handguns. Virginia Tech was handguns.
Okay, keep going. Vegas, Sandy Hook.
Vegas was an assault weapon.
Yeah.
Vegas was an assault. So my thing is
Sandy Hook,
say this.
assault weapon.
If he
Parkland, assault weapon.
I say, and I don't, we're talking about human lives, but if I were to have a shotgun inside of a movie theater,
I know
That would do a lot more damage than the AR.
That's the funny thing. So if people go into a gun store and they say, "Hey, I don't know how to use a gun, but I want to protect my house," they say, "Get a shotgun," because there's a spread. It's going to hit more stuff. You know, you don't have to be able to aim at stuff. You can just shoot. But the thing is, like, again, I don't even necessarily know if it's assault rifle or not. I think it being semi-automatic or automatic, or the amount of ammunition you can have at one time, I think that's what makes more difference. Because if every time, I mean, if you can only have a 10-shot magazine, that's a whole lot different than having a 50-round magazine. A whole lot different, and especially.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I mean that's kind of
it's a big difference when, you know, if it's not semi-automatic or automatic, you know, that's a world of difference when you're shooting something. There's a delay. There's a lot bigger delay.
But I mean,
usually it's a single bolt action.
There's no automatic. They're all semi-automatic. There's no bolt. There's no fully automatics have been used in any of those shootings. They're all semi-auto.
Yeah. So I'm saying, like, essentially, when you're coming down to something, if you allow only people to have a bolt action, I mean, who's?
But I mean, to me, like I said, that's not solving the problem though. That to me, that's saying, okay, it's okay if only there's two. To me, that's basically saying, okay, if 5 people got shot, that's okay as opposed to 17 people.
It's trying to reduce the potential of casualty. Obviously, you can't get rid of casualty altogether.
Like, that's what I just said.
So
that's saying it's okay if these 5 people get shot as opposed to those 17 people.
And people aren't on board for that.
But if your kid, if your kid is one of the 5, does it matter to you?
It does, but I mean, that's a nonsensical argument, to be frank. If anybody dies, it's terrible. We don't know.
Okay,
any loss of life is unacceptable.
So I'm saying, why don't we?
So why don't
we come up with excuses? Why don't we come up with things that are going to eliminate the shootings? Period.
Such as?
I don't know. Like I said, that's up.
See, that's the thing is, like I said, there's no way, there's nothing to foolproof preventing shootings, unless you don't have guns.
The first thing is, like I said, where are all these fucking resource officers at? Why aren't they at the gate?
I don't know.
You know, Howard King, like I said, I mean, I know when I was in high school, there was 2 entrances to my whole high school. You know, through the main office and like through the side gate, and there was security at both of them.
Again, not all schools have all the same resources, and not all the quality of resources they have are the same. Maybe they have somebody there, and they were in the bathroom. I don't know what was going on. But the thing is just having again, yes, having staff there creates a deterrent. It doesn't change some of the things. So the thing is, we have
all these solutions are deterrents, though. None of them are going to change anything. They're all deterrents.
I understand, but the thing is, it's a culture. Again, really, right now, I know we have an amendment right. You have a right to own a gun. You have a right to bear arms. I get that, but to be honest with you, there's like only one reason to have guns. Really, I want to have guns. You don't have to have a gun to protect your home. You protect it a lot of other ways. Do it with a stick. Get a bat. You know, do it like James. James has a shiv.
That's called bringing a stick. That's called bringing a stick or a knife to a gunfight.
No, I'm just saying, like, if nobody has guns, if guns, again, the only argument.
That's what you're saying, though. Okay, I'm
saying the only argument to have guns. How often
of
people
nobody ever having a gun in America is not going to happen.
But if you look at the statistics
hold
about
on.
home break-ins, if you're looking at break-ins into homes, people aren't that likely to be armed with a gun. It's actually statistically very unlikely. Most of the time.
What break-ins are you talking about? You talking about kids? You talking about kids breaking into somebody's house while they're away, or a home invasion?
Home invasion is not something that is
My
very.
thing is, look.
Home invasion doesn't happen at a high rate. It's not it's not something statistically. It does not happen at a high rate to where somebody busts in your door.
Neither
with
do
a
mass
gun.
shooting.
Again, I understand.
Neither do mass shooting.
But either way, if you take the guns away from them, they don't have guns to do those things with.
But that's what I'm saying. You can't take the guns away.
How are you going
I
to
understand
enforce
it. I'm
that?
just saying. What I'm saying is really the only argument to have a gun is I want to have a gun. There really isn't an argument outside of that, because if we don't have guns, our lives will go by just the same. We'll find other ways to inflict violence on each other, kill each other, to do these. Maybe they change from mass shootings to mass bombings. I don't know. Where there's a will, there's a way. I get that. But so if the compromise, if we look at it as a compromise and we say, hey, listen, any sort of weapon that is like this, you can't own. You can't as a civilian have these kind of weapons. It's banned. It's too dangerous for people to own. The same way we determined that having a bazooka, having a tank, and a machine gun were just too dangerous to have. And permanently you cannot have these style of weapons. So, I mean, does life change that dramatically? I mean, when I go hunt deer, it has changed nothing about me owning any of the guns that I have. Shotguns, rifles, handguns. It hasn't changed any of that. All it means is I can't have a military assault rifle.
That's
outside of
That's
recreational.
a good point. Okay, so say we ban AR-15, and the next shooting takes place with a 30-30 Winchester lever action. Are those and then now we have to ban lever action.
No, it's not.
No, the next shooting takes place.
But see, that's the thing is the argument is always the slippery slope. Now we're slowly banning more and more stuff. That's not the case, because that's not a reality. That's never a reality. So.
Dude, I live in California. It happened here. We can no longer buy ammunition without a fucking background check.
It
happened quick.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's ammunition for a background check, but you can still have leverage action, right? Bolt action, you can still have that?
Ammunition.
I'm saying.
That means I have to have a background
it doesn't
check
matter.
Every time and then, hold on, wait. And then, on top of that, the stores that sell ammo have to have a special license, so every store can't even sell ammo now.
You do realize it's the tobacco effect, right? That's what the government's doing with it, right? It's a tobacco effect. They figure because they can't regulate it in a way that they say they can't say they don't have the balls to say no, you're not going to have these anymore. What they're doing is making it harder and more expensive to access. That's the NRA. By the way,
that hasn't worked.
Hold up. For everybody that loves the NRA,
same amount of folks are dying.
That's the NRA.
Same amount of folks are dying from lung cancer.
I'm saying that's the NRA pushing its members to pay more money for the product. And by the way, and people got so mad at me. I said the NRA should publicly affiliate with the Republicans, but financially they should always want a Democrat in office because they sell more guns. You sell more guns during a Democratic presidency than you do Republicans. Remington is in the verge of filing for bankruptcy only a year into Trump's presidency because the numbers have slouched off so much in 1 year. And the tax breaks weren't enough. Permanent tax breaks. So again, it's like it's so oddly convoluted, you know. It's like it seems like both sides just want all or nothing, and there's no compromise. See, from my position, I don't care. I don't have a use for an assault rifle. You know, I never think, you know what, I'd like to go shoot one right now. I never thought that. If there was one somewhere and I was there and they say, hey, you want to shoot this? Sure, why not? But I've never said, hey, I want to spend $1,000 on a gun so I can shoot holes in a target, blow up watermelons. Like, I don't know. It's never been my thing. Things that I shoot at, I intend to kill. But that's the only reason I aim a gun at anything, is because I intend to kill it. And it's deer. That's what I aim my gun at, deer. Because I'm going to shoot it, I'm going to kill it, I'm going to field dress it, I'm going to let the blood drain out of it, because that's how it works.
Well, that's the point of all guns.
And then I'm going to eat the meat. Right? I'm going to eat the meat. But that's the thing is, like, I don't know. You
don't hunt any ducks?
No, I don't hunt ducks. No. I don't like sitting in one place. And with ducks, turkey.
I think you're afraid of a dog coming up and laughing at you. That's what it is.
That dog needs to get his roll. I used to shoot at that dog all the time. It never worked, but I'm just saying.
No, I never did. Yeah,
punk ass dog.
They need to, you know, on a side note, they need to bring that back to video games. What happened to light guns, man? My goodness, I want to. That would be dope if like they had like the new PlayStation 4 needs to have like a dope light gun game, man. What happened to that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Isn't it like Nintendo?
I remember the last game I played with a light gun was like I think it was like Die Hard 3 on PlayStation.
Oh,
it had
so
like a level where you use a light gun.
So I was with Dell tech support. It's like it's a very bad thing. It's something you should never do. Like meth and
wait, did you say Dell?
Dell computers.
Yeah, well, that was your first mistake buying a Dell. Who the hell buys Dell, dude?
Listen,
come on.
I like my Dell. I like my Inspiron. I just don't like the tech support.
I was just about to say, that's like saying, well, yeah, I was on the phone with Gateway tech support.
Okay, so yeah, obviously that was the beginning of the problem. We agree. So he's telling me, like, you got to hit F12 really quickly when the Dell symbol comes up. Otherwise, you know, the screen's not going to boot right. So I'm going at it. He's like, are you hitting it fast? I was like, dude, I came up on Olympics on Nintendo. I be killing it because we couldn't afford the pad. And I swear the pad didn't work half the time anyways. You know? So I had to do it with the controller. And that used to be the thing. Like your forearms. Like, it's the only game where you got forearm workout, you know? Hitting the AB. But
see what you do is you get the controller and you get like a pin. You either get like a pin or a lighter and you just get it going back and forth hella quick, dude. You go hella fast. Like on the old track and field, I used to run like a 9 500. I mean, I used to kill him in that.
That's the one you took the fan with you, right?
Yeah.
So by the way,
I still remember playing that with my cousins, man. Cause like he used to have the sprint, the long jump, and then it had the